We're clearing out this overgrown area next to the chicken coop and saving some of the plants that are very beneficial for the local wildlife while we're at it. Welcome back to the channel, you guys, and us actually getting to do some conservation work. Quick update on the chickens since we got you guys over here, but the ones that we had inside that Willow was taking care of, we actually have started to bring outside already, so we'll show you kind of what we got going on. We had a little bit of an issue. We noticed that they were starting to get pretty good size, kind of picking on each other. These ones seem a little bit more aggressive than the ones that I had originally to begin with, so we've got 7 more now. On the outside of the coop, we've put the bigger ones. This is kind of one of the nice things about the run setup we've done. Even though it hasn't been the perfect setup for what we were trying to do, it does end up kind of working out to give us a way to be able to have both groups of chicks separated to allow these ones to stretch their legs and not be so confined while they're still growing up to get big enough to be put in the same space with the original 7 that we've had. So they definitely seem to be doing a lot better in there. The coop is about ready to be cleaned. A lot of the stuff on the ground is pretty well pooped over at this point, and it's ready to be scraped up and throw some leaves in here. So now that we've showed you the crazy birds we have in a cage, we'll show you some of the plants that we're moving around to help take care of the birds that come around our property. So one of the things that we want to do is we've been clearing out this kind of overgrown wooded area on our property, and there's a lot of stuff that we've been finding, and that's kind of why it's been taking a while. There's quite a few plants in here that are very different, diverse. We've noticed a lot of butterflies come through the area, lots of birds and other types of wildlife come through this area at certain plants. And so we've been able to identify some of those plants, and we want to try and conserve those plants. Even though they're maybe in a spot like this one right here that you see, this is a beautyberry. Now this, as Olivia falls trying to move the camera. All right, so this one is actually a plant that puts out a berry. It's native here in Florida, and you can use the berries to eat. They don't taste like kind of anything. We've tried them. They're purple, they're really pretty, they're small, but they don't taste like anything. We've heard you can make syrup out of it and other things like that. We haven't tried that yet. Mostly we've been keeping these on the property just because we noticed the birds like them, and they kind of are working as a natural bird feeder for us. And that's kind of the common theme that you're gonna see with a lot of the plants that we're moving today. We have a couple different ones that we're moving to different parts in the yard, and they all tend to benefit the birds. And we're using them as our kind of natural bird feeders, while at the same time putting in other plants that allow the birds to have kind of a food source and pull away from the trees that we don't want them to touch, hopefully, kind of like our sacrificial plants. But sacrificial plants that will allow the birds to, you know, kind of pick at these instead of going after the ones that we don't want them to go for. And that's part of what we want to do with the kind of methods of growing food that we want to do, is we want to try and work with nature rather than trying to have like a big everything being for high production and then we spray or we take out you know, any source of food for the local wildlife. We like having them around to get content for you guys and shots, and my wife and I, we just love having them around kind of in general. That's just something that we really enjoy about where we live. Coming out of the desert climates, we didn't have wildlife like this around us. Even when we did have wildlife around it, there just wasn't this much of it, and it's just so cool to have it around all the time getting shots from you guys, and so we want to keep that. So this one right here is right next to my elephant ear that I put in next to this oak that I've got on the backside over here, a monstera growing on. And this area I actually cleared out about a month or 2 ago, and you can see just how much is coming back already. Like, these smilax vines are like the bane of my existence right here. I hate these things with a passion. If you follow us on Instagram, you might have seen me post where I had like my hands all covered in ketchup, joking about how it is pulling smilax vines, because like the thorns on these are just brutal. Even when I'm wearing my full leather gloves, they're insane. And you know, trying to pull them up to get the root, a lot of the time they just don't come up, and then they just come back with a vengeance. And you can see how big and thick they grow. The root, from what I've heard, we haven't tried it yet, but I've heard that you can actually eat the root kind of like a normal potato almost. Let's chuck that to the side for now. But you know, maybe we'll try that at some point for the channel. Anyways, but yeah, we got to clear out a lot of this stuff. It just keeps coming back like crazy, and so in clearing it out, you know, we've identified plants like this that we want to go ahead and move. It's a good plant. We like having it for the wildlife. It's just not in the spot we want it, and so we'll go ahead and dig this one out and move it to the spot it's going to go. So I'm going to go grab my shovel and get to it. This is gonna be the difficult part, trying to get this one out of here, is it's right in between all the roots on this oak. So I don't actually know if this one's gonna come up good and survive this one, but I still wanna give it a shot. Because even if it doesn't, we still have a ton of other beautyberry on the property that we can either propagate out or move one of those to this spot where I'm kind of thinking I want them for our Sunset Boulevard garden. All right, so I nicked quite a few of the roots that were going around too close to the big oak roots around here. And so we'll see how it does. Hopefully she'll bounce back okay, but like I said, if not, well, maybe I damaged that way worse than I thought. So, as you can see, like clearly the roots not very good. I did not take very good care on this one. Like I said, the beautyberry, this is one we have a lot of. I've shown you guys this one before, so I'm just not really caring at all much with this one. So I'm just gonna slap it in the ground and see how it does. I've noticed these things are very resilient so far as I can tell. I've got another section of the yard where I cut them back to the ground because they were in a spot that I didn't want them in, and I just straight up butchered them thinking that they would for sure be dead. And as soon as spring came back this year, they came right back again. So, you know, those ones I might have to move around or just figure out a way to try and incorporate them for good into that spot. Because right now we're kind of just trying to use some things to fill in until the plants that we want to grow up and create the wind block for this area actually grow up. Like we've got some other plants in here that we're saving for a surprise later on, and trying to bring in some other plants and stuff that this will all get cleared out and we'll have different wind block. But right now we want to work further in and utilize what's already here to block those winds coming in off of the coast and everything, especially with having hurricane season right on us right now. So that's it for the beautyberry. That one's a good one for birds, like I said. We'll move on to the next one right over here, which I don't know if we're doing, which one we're doing next, so we'll go find it. Next kind of tree we have that's growing in our overgrown area, like everything else that we found a little surprise of, is actually one that people tend to like a lot of for the way it smells, the way it flowers. It's your magnolia that everybody talks about in the south. I think it's magnolia as I rip the leaf. Man, today's video is going great, I swear. Man, okay, so anyways, this is magnolia. I'm gonna go ahead and try and get it out of the ground. These, I wasn't quite sure exactly what they're good for as far as wildlife goes. We were just gonna keep this one because it's pretty and use it as kind of like a privacy screen. And again, wind block and insulation for the plants. It's native, and apparently one of the things that actually it has that's really good for it is the turkeys tend to like the fruit off it and have a food source off of it quite a bit. We do have a lot of wild turkeys that we've had walk through the yard. You guys probably have seen them in some of our other videos, and we like having them here. So we're gonna go ahead and keep some of these magnolia trees around as we're finding them and put them out over by probably where our pond is gonna end up going. So let's go ahead, dig this one out and start moving it down. I'm bringing this magnolia to is quite a bit sandier, so I've got this bag of the jungle growth that I was using to put in the blue java banana or ice cream banana in the last video that I'm trying to send out to a buddy of mine. Still having problems with that. Shipping, people are retarded sometimes, I swear, working with people. Anyways, so we're gonna use some of the rest of it to try and amend the soil over here because it is so sandy in this one spot. This area we want to kind of be our beach for the pond and fill it in with some magnolias, some palm trees, and some bananas, maybe some papaya. Make it a cool area for us to be able to hang out, put some hammocks, play some beach volleyball, and whatever. We got an acre, we got the space. This is so cool having so much land. Like, you guys, I don't know if you guys all get it, because, you know, maybe some of you aren't like me and my wife, but, you know, we've been living in like a condo and things during COVID and stuff. We aren't exactly used to having this much space with having an acre. And so it's really fun, although it's also a bit of an issue because come to find out, it is a lot of work to keep up with this kind of land. And especially when, like, I mean, I'm good at fishing. I'm Greek. My family was pretty much fishermen since the Greek-Persian War until my grandpa and grandma, or Greek, it's, you know, Papu and Yaya all moved over here. They were all fishermen over in Greece, and so, you know, farming's not really my thing. I'm more fishing, but I'm trying. Fun. But it's a pain in the ass. Getting too hot. One of the things that sucks about having kids, you guys are trying to do this channel, is, you know, you gotta get up, you gotta feed them, you gotta actually like take care of them instead of just getting up and going with filming. And so every time we film, it always seems like I end up doing it at the hottest time of the damn day. So there's the magnolia. We'll go move on to the next one. And after we get the last one planted in, we'll go ahead and water them all like I talked about that we moved today. So let's go head back up to the wood line and start grabbing more plants. In front of me is our Ruby Ray grapefruit that's in our kitchen garden or kitchen corner area for the property. That one's been actually growing pretty good. It could probably use some fertilizer at this point since it's been growing for a bit and hasn't gotten any chicken poop yet. But right behind it, we've had pop up even more plants after I cleared out this area, just like everything else on the property. And this one happens to be one of those black cherries that I mentioned in the last video. Now these ones have a cherry that is edible, supposedly supposed to be something that we can do some stuff with, like possibly eat, make some juices, maybe some other things. I don't know. We'll play with it possibly and see how it comes out. But really what we've noticed with these is the big one that we have over there, like we showed you guys in the last video, has been really good for attracting birds, like especially the cardinals around here. And they just fly across the yard like crazy all the time. And it's great having them. And so we want to bring more of these out to help create some more protection for the trees we want, while still being able to be a tree that's going to be able to get big and have fruit at the height where we want the birds to stay and not coming down low to where we are. So again, another sacrificial tree that we'll go ahead and bring out, native here to Florida. Can also still be used for us if we have any emergencies that come up where we actually need some food for ourselves because everything else didn't work for any reason. But be more of something to help feed the birds and keep the cardinals around we like. So let's go ahead and get her out. Actually, on second thought, you guys, I'm really tired. Like, we got 2 kids now. I'm exhausted. I got blisters all over my feet. My back hurts. I'm sweating like a, well, you don't even want to know. So let's do this the easy way. So there you go. We got the tree in the ground. We're only going to do one of each today just to give you guys an idea of the types of plants that we're moving around and why we are saving them. Like I said, these plants are really just so important as food sources for birds that come around. Those birds in turn help protect us by attracting them to the yard. They protect our plants and us from the bugs that come around and help as pest control in addition to the cats we got and everything. And so this is just like we've said, of trying to use everything around us and working with nature rather than against nature to try and make our own kind of little paradise. We've had some hiccups today, a lot more than normal in our videos. And it just kind of goes to show that my wife and I aren't professionals at this stuff. We haven't done farming before. We really just got into this because we were trying to survive COVID and we're getting sick of getting locked down in a condo and wanted a space where it didn't matter what happened outside our walls. We were fine no matter what. So we're going to go ahead and keep moving around these types of plants and keep learning and growing with what we're doing. Definitely make sure you check out our Instagram to see the other black cherries, some additional magnolias and beautyberries and stuff getting moved around. If you want to see more of those, definitely check out our Instagram and follow us there. Aside from that, I'm going to go ahead off camera and keep clearing out that wood line and the overgrowth and everything and start getting it ready to plant the stuff that we actually want in that area for the next video for all of you. So definitely make sure that you subscribe to our channel here, turn notifications on so that you get notified of when that next video comes out. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. Again, as always, hope you enjoyed. Molnar, out.
I just